her hand positioned on my shoulder as if it naturally fit there, in between my armor and my skin, nestled tightly between protection and nakedness. Her touch radiated with an odd glow, a supernatural feeling, the same Ikora gave off. An essence of light so immense that her fingers could swipe through me at any moment like my flesh was nothing more than water. We should let them grieve. I've said my piece. Looking back to her companions still crowded around the mementos of their fallen friend. The table had become a makeshift altar for their company to discuss nostalgia of the dead, each piece containing a short epic of their comrade. It was interesting to see that these material things came to represent a dead man. Each weapon or armament had a story. Each of these stories were exaggerated, an embellishment that only the living could make. Why, though? The dead or dying do not care what you say of them. The dead cannot protest the truth or testify against the falsehood. This was especially true during a memorial service. In this service, you were meant to honor the dead, not add extravagance to their lives in a faint hope to justify a pitiful end. Or, perhaps, it was their way of grieving, coping with the burden of human emotion, the end of an ally, a piece of your spirit torn away from you at a whim. Some say a piece of you remains here in the material world when you pass on, whether it be your light, your spirit, or your soul. It is a dying hope that somehow the end you are to experience at some point means something, that you have power over death. Perhaps. The Thanatonauts, or Death Delvers, would believe that death is another form of existence, but how could any of us know? Those Thanatonauts come back from the brink spouting madness like an unhinged faucet, hallucinations and vivid dreams running rampant through the circuitry of their minds. Prophecies of what is and what couldn't be meshed together like a serpent rising from the sea, twisting truths and timelines of possibility. But whatever I believed didn't matter. I wavered through an absent mind, looking past the Titan at my front to the comrades at her back. Let them believe what they will, she said, as if opening my mind, slicing through my thoughts, her words acting as fine-tuned instruments. We have lost a piece of us, something that can only be replaced with grief and healed with the passage of time. Careful, I said with a slight grin. Words like that and you'll be mistaken for a warlock. It was my attempt to refocus her in need of my attention with some humor. It seemed ineffective. Her facial expression remained motionless, as if my words met an empty room. The silence grew louder between us, and it was only amplified by the incoherent sobs and sulking of her allies still huddling around the table, as if their combined light would reincarnate the dead. A few more moments of deafening silence would have killed me. But in a flurry, she looked up at me. "Let's take a walk." Her eyes meeting mine for the first time, my helmet acting like a thin veil of cloth, penetrated only by watering optics. She cleared the tears that had stained her face and chest guard and rephrased her request, slightly more demanding, but still neutral in delivery. A long, long walk.